Yo, welcome back everybody to the Boomer Bust Podcast. I'm your host, Shoot to Rock, and today I'm here with my boy Matt. How we doing, Matt?
Good, back with the deadly duo of Dirac and me. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to be back 3 weeks in a row now, rolling out new content for you guys. And yeah, it's a good middle of the week spot. Wednesday here, turning point, turning towards that Thursday and Friday. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Good to hear. Sadly, JJ cannot join us live tonight. He's got some work to take care of, so no JJ. So yeah, back to last year at this time, me and Matt also did a conference championship week podcast. Just the two of us gave our picks. We were split that last year on who we thought. Let's see if we're gonna be split again this year. If we're gonna go with the same teams, we'll have to see. So, but first we're gonna recap last week real quick here. Matt, can I just ask you what's your thinking behind some of these picks? Are you just trying to be different here than me and JJ, or what's your thinking? Because you are now 2-8.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted. 2-8 through the NFL postseason. That's a record you definitely want to fade if you're a bettor. However, I don't know, just trying to be different, keep the podcast content a little switched up so we're not all on the same thing, because that can get kind of repetitive and boring. But no, I definitely did believe in the Packers. That was 100% something I believed in this past week, and they almost got it done. To be honest, without a missed field goal and a couple bad throws by Jordan Love at the end of the game, they were in that game through all four quarters. So, and then my other pick, yeah, I mean, Buffalo just can't get past the monster of Kansas City. But I'll still be a big Josh Allen guy. I like Josh Allen a lot. I don't think he's the reason that they can't necessarily get over the hump. But yet again, you're playing against probably the greatest quarterback we've seen since Tom Brady, and probably will go down as top 2, top 3 all time. So yeah, that's kind of where my head lied with those games. But both of them were good games. I mean, they were close. So.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Texan, man, we had some really good games this weekend. That was the one pick I got wrong. The Ravens steamrolled the Texans 34-10. Houston had a close game in the first half, but Baltimore just pulled away in the second. Not a whole lot the Texans could do there. Just too potent of an offense. Probably the game of the weekend in my mind, Saturday night. The Packers did almost pull it out for you, like you said, but the Niners were able to lead a drive there down the stretch, and then the Anders Carlson missed field goal, and then a Jordan Love turnover at the end ended up costing the Packers. The Niners, the 1-seed advance there despite the scare. Lions Bucks honestly was a good game for two teams that people didn't have a lot of faith in. Really good game on Saturday. I got a shout out Mike Evans. He made some incredible catches, keep the Bucks in those games. I mean, when you have a receiver like that, no wonder Baker Mayfield's playing so well. But Jared Goff.
Exactly. What is that? That's what, 10 years straight of 1,000 yards for Mike Evans?
Oh, he's a Hall of Fame. Should be first ballot Hall of Fame.
For sure.
No doubt.
I think he's top 15 receiver all time. He's got to be up at least in the conversation. But great game by him.
So but the Lions, Detroit, keeps rolling with this good energy. 31-23, they pull out the win. The offense was clicking there for them in the second half. And then another Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen classic. But Tyler Bass, got a feel for that guy. Misses a field goal that would have tied the game. I can take some blame for it. We were both, we had our men's league games, our men's basketball league Sunday night. Good win, by the way. Shout out you. So after we both got our wins, we were chilling in the lobby watching that game. And I said, well, you weren't there, but to my friends I was watching it with, I said, oh, this game's going to overtime. Well, and Tyler Bass missed the field goal. So I might have announcer jinxed him a little bit. Or podcast jinxed him. So once again, the Chiefs, they win Pat Mahomes' first true road game. Crazy stat here. In the 6 years that Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, he has gone to the AFC title game at least every season.
That's insane, man. That is insane. He is doing something in professional sports that we have not seen in a long time. This is some crazy dominance by Patty Holmes and the Chiefs, dude. This is crazy.
Yeah, very, very Brady-esque. So, the Chiefs and the Ravens are advancing to the AFC title game, and that's our first game here on Sunday that we're going to start picking with. 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central on CBS Sunday. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites currently with an over-under of 44.5. Matt, who are you liking in this one?
Well, first off, I'm definitely going to say that this is going to be the game of the week. Obviously, there's only 2 games. However, I do think this game will be another banger in normal Chiefs fashion. However, I'm going to lean the Ravens on this game, to be honest. They've kind of been the more consistent team throughout the whole season. And when you look at it across all professional sports, consistency tends to, get you places when it comes to that big game time. And it's in Baltimore. You're going to have the crowd around you. Mark Andrews is back active, I believe, and so is Marlon Humphrey, if I'm not mistaken on that one. But I thought I saw a notification earlier this morning about that. Yeah, kind of like a full healthy Ravens squad. And I mean, even if Mark Andrews is lackluster, doesn't get as many snaps as he should, you got Isaiah Likely. I mean, that guy has been a dump off machine for Lamar all year, filling in for Andrews. And yeah, I like the Ravens in this spot. That defense is good. But I mean, like JJ said last week, like you've muttered before, it's scary to bet against Mahomes in these spots. You don't want to do it. And I wouldn't necessarily back and put money behind the Ravens. However, I do like the Ravens to win this game in this spot. Head to another Super Bowl opportunity. How about you, Dirac?
Again, it's going to be biased, but I changed my pick from the Ravens to the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl in the AFC last week, so I'm going to stick by it. Again, I am not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes until someone beats him. He is now undefeated on the road in playoff games. He has never lost on the road. Outside of a neutral site Super Bowl, he has never, which technically, I guess, technically neutral site, but was an away game because it was in Tampa Bay, playing Tom Brady and the Bucs. I said it a couple years ago before that Super Bowl. I just think the Chiefs are the new Patriots. I think they're just going to keep kind of running through everyone. They're just too dominant. I mean, Travis Kelce had a really good game last week. Their defense made some big stops. Granted, I don't know why the heck you're doing fourth down fake punt with Damar Hamlin in that situation.
Yeah.
This isn't a Disney movie. This is the NFL playoffs. But it's just a winning culture. Like, they just find ways to win. Again, last week I did say, or maybe not last week. Or no, I did say it last week. I just don't know. I don't trust Baltimore in the playoffs still, even though they won last week. But that's against a rookie quarterback. Again, a little contradictory here because I was saying how that rookie quarterback was meet them last week. But again, I just until someone knocks off Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to bet him. It's not worth putting my hard-earned money on someone else when Patrick Mahomes is just going to keep beating me and make me pay for betting against him. So I'm going to roll with the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're definitely on the opposite sides here on this one. It should be a banger of a game, though. I hope it is, too. I don't want no low-scoring game, and I don't want to blow out on either side. I want this game. These are probably the best two teams in the AFC, even though this Chiefs team has been lackluster this season with up and downs. It's still Mahomes and the crew, so I want a banger of a game. And I'm hoping we get it. 2 o'clock game, correct?
2
if I'm not
o'clock.
mistaken?
Yeah, I mean, they always have been the past 2 years against Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati knocked them off 2 years ago. The game last year went down to the wire. I mean, yeah, they're always playing competitive close games with Chiefs, but they find a way to pull it out. I'm trying to think their other AFC. The one against Tom Brady, the first one where Mahomes lost there. Yep. That was a game. That's what changed those overtime rules. 'Cause that was a heck of a game. They kind of blew out Buffalo that first time, but yeah, they always play good games in the AFC Championship. I think this should be a great game. Like you said, 2 best teams in the AFC all season. Even though the Chiefs haven't been as good this year, they're still Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. You can't count them out, like you said.
Yeah. And then the NFC game. Once again, the San Francisco 49ers find themselves in the NFC title game. 6:30 Eastern on Fox. They are going to be hosting the Detroit Lions this time, as opposed to last year having to go to Philly. This year they're at home, and hopefully their quarterback. They have a quarterback who can throw the ball this game. That should help them, unlike last year. But the upstart Lions, man, they're looking good in the playoffs. I would say they're peaking at the right time, kind of like how the Chiefs are. Both teams are 12-5. San Francisco is 7-point favorites, though, however, with an over-under of 50.5. Who are you liking in this one, Matt?
I like San Francisco in this spot. I mean, probably been the most dominant team all season long on both sides of the football, and their special teams can make plays when needed. Yeah, the Lions, it's been a great run. It's definitely the story of the year, in my opinion, for sure. Winning 2 games at home. MCDC's got that team riled up. But, yeah, something about the Lions. They played the Rams and the Buccaneers, who, in my opinion, were probably the 2 worst teams in the NFC playoffs this season, or this year. And I just kind of feel like the matchups have been much closer than they probably should be for a Detroit team right now. They kind of needed a big win against the Bucs. I would have liked to see a big win at least against the Bucs to have me back them here in this spot, but no, it's the Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Brock Purdy still is a lot of question marks for me. So if Goff can kind of limit the mistakes and make Purdy move the ball to win the game, I could see a world where Detroit wins. However, just too many studs on both sides of the ball for the Niners. I lead in the Niners here. What's the spread on that game?
It's currently 7 in favor of San Francisco.
Ooh. It's a lot of points. It's giving a lot of points to Detroit. Yeah, I don't have a specific pick within this game, but I just like the Niners straight up on the money line to win the game outright. Niners Ravens is my Super Bowl prediction.
That was what my Super Bowl prediction was heading into the playoffs, or our first episode we made.
Yeah.
But last week I changed up my prediction, and I think I'm going to do it again. I'm going to be honest, I just did not like what I saw from the Niners. Green Bay has been playing well at the right time, playing their best football, but they didn't turn the ball over. Like, they won the turnover battle and got lucky with a missed field goal. Against Detroit, the way Detroit's playing right now, they're gonna need that to happen again. And I just don't know. It's like it's a vibes pick, and vibes picks so far have done me well so far in the playoffs. I went with Detroit, or not Detroit. When I went with Tampa Bay over Philly, that was a vibes pick. And just right now, like I didn't really like the vibe I got from the Niners last week. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot here of statistical like football analysis really, but I just think Detroit's playing well at the right time. So I like them to win. I would definitely take them plus the points for sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna pick Detroit to win. So that now gives me wild stat here. Credit to Jake Marsh of the Pardon My Take podcast. If the Lions and Chiefs win, the first game of the season and the last game of the season for this NFL season would be the same. That's pretty wild in my opinion.
That is kind of cool. That is really kind of a cool fact. But I don't think you're on the bad side with Detroit either. I mean, if you just look at this last week's game, like you pointed out, who was the better team in the NFC this past weekend? I would say Detroit. Even though they played not a lackluster Bucs team. Let's chill with that because they won the NFC South, arguably the worst division.
Oh, definitely the worst division, but they're playing well.
But they played well, and they walked all over Philly. And I mean, San Francisco did struggle in that Packers game, and that field goal was a game changer. So yeah, I don't hate it. It should be a banger of a championship weekend, that is for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, it should be. So now we're going to move on a little bit, talk about some coaching hires. So we had a big one that broke today. Jim's brother, while Jim is playing the AFC Championship this weekend, looking to join his brother in winning a football championship this year, John Harbaugh is coming back to the NFL. He will be head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, a team he played for in his NFL career. I do not have the years in front of me. I'll look that up. But Matt, what are your thoughts on that hire?
I mean, I don't hate it, but this Chargers team just seems to be in a recycling period of going through coaches. And as much as I love the Harbaughs, I think they're going to need a little more here to change this. I almost said San Diego team, this Los Angeles Chargers team. I mean, year in and year out, they got the quarterback to do it, I believe. I'm a big Herbert fan. I think he is arguably a top 5, top 6, but for sure top elite quarterback in the NFL, maybe not on the par of everybody else. But I mean, they've been dealing with injuries, and then when it comes down to the end of the season, they just can't win those division games against the Raiders. They can't get past the Chiefs. We all know that it's like the Chiefs, and the Chiefs got the Bills name and they got the Chargers name. And and even Denver. I think the Chargers lost a game against Denver this year, so they just can't get through that division. I like Jim Harbaugh a lot, but I don't know if he's going to be enough, as I'm also not a Michigan fan, so I don't really care to say too much about him. But yeah, I think the Chargers need a lot more than just a head coach to turn things around. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, Chargers, you were right. The Chargers lost both games to Denver this year. Also, sorry, I mean, they hired Jim Harbaugh. I flipped him around, so calling him San Diego.
Oh, you said John?
Yeah. Said John. They hired Jim. John's in the AFC Championship game. My apologies. I think it's a change that's necessary. Clearly, this season was a big disappointment. You saw 2 years ago, this choking away that game against Jacksonville. The year before that, just mismanagement of that game against Vegas where they could have made the playoffs.
Raiders. Yep.
I think Harbaugh is a good situational coach.
Okay.
Knows how to make good play calls. So, and knows he's better situationally than Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley went from like crazy, like mad and going for it on everything to then like overthinking himself. So they needed some sort of change, and I would say Jim Harbaugh was probably the best candidate out there, other than Bill Belichick, which leads me to my next question. Bill Belichick has now had 2 interviews with your Atlanta Falcons. Do you think the Falcons are going to go that direction? Do you want them to go that direction? What's your kind of thoughts here on the Falcons coaching situation and Bill Belichick in general?
Do I think he's coming to Atlanta? If I could lean one way or the other, I do think there's a chance he ends up in Atlanta. However, do I want Bill Belichick in Atlanta? Sadly, no. I kind of want an offensive mindset, like a guru type, like a Shanahan, even though, sorry to go on a tangent, I still believe he's the one that costed a majority of that Super Bowl on us, being very impatient. But that's here nor there. I kind of want an offensive-minded coach. I'm looking at like a Ben Johnson is someone I kind of aim to want. But yeah, I mean, Belichick, it's not like I'm going to hate him. If he comes here, he's better than anyone we've had in quite some time. So I just, it's that like gut feeling I have of like getting the coach that came back on you in a Super Bowl in the craziest fashion. Is that like who I want to be supporting? I mean, if he's helping us, sure. But it's like, obviously he is. But like, yeah, I don't know. There's a couple other routes I'd rather go. Vrabel's also on the market, so that's a good one. I saw we interviewed him today. But if you had to ask me between Belichick and Vrabel, crazy. Clip it. Put it on TikTok. I want Mike Vrabel as my head coach over Bill Belichick. Locker room guy, gets the guys going. So, yeah. Otherwise, I don't really know too much about anyone else that's coach that's looking for a spot to be filled, because I think there's only 2 or 3 teams, if I'm not mistaken, that have a vacancy right now that I can think of, because I know the Raiders signed their interim head coach.
Brought back Antonio Pierce. That's a good signing.
Yep, Antonio Pierce. Yeah, I think it was time that they needed to make a move from somebody that kind of stepped up. But yeah, not much more there on Atlanta. But will I take Belichick? Yes. Do I really want him necessarily? No. But yeah, it is what it is when you got one of the greatest head coaches of all time roaming in free agency and visiting you. It's definitely good news to say within the organization.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally have to agree with you. I mean, we saw Bill Belichick the last couple of years with a young team. Again, not taking anything away from Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. But I think just given his age and kind of where he is in his career, it would make more sense for him to go to a team that's in more of a win-now mode, where a team like the Falcons is kind of, they're a younger
still
team.
Revamping.
Yeah, they're not ready to go win a Super Bowl. I think if I'm Bill Belichick personally, I'd probably take this year off, considering that the Eagles and Cowboys both brought back their head coaches surprisingly.
Brought back, yeah.
Because I would say, I mean, what do you think? Like Nick Sirianni, Mike McCarthy, like are they going to still be there through next season? Like what's if you were a Cowboys or Eagles fan, you can start with either one. What would kind of be your take on those guys?
Yeah, that's funny that you asked that, because I was actually going to spin the Mike McCarthy one on you, so I'll let you answer that one first, but I'll answer for the Eagles. I don't hate the Sirianni. Eagles fans are very toxic, in my opinion. Sorry, Eagles fans that are watching, but it's just kind of, I think they put a lot of blame on whatever they can in the moment. But as Sirianni stepped up, I think he's definitely gotten that team playing good football for the last, I don't know, maybe two and a half years that he's been there, 3 years if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't hate him. Even if they have a down year to their standards, which is probably a divisional game and then hopefully a win, maybe even a Super Bowl push. But as long as they make the playoffs, I don't think there's a room where Sirianni needs to leave. Some teams are so impatient nowadays with just firing coaches immediately, thinking a coach is going to change it. And yeah, for me, for the Eagles, I think you kind of keep that guy for a year or two and see what you can build through, see what happens with A.J. Brown. And some of those defensive players kind of need to step up, but they're very young. So, yeah, I don't blame it on Sirianni, though. But I want to throw it to you with the Cowboys. What do you think about Mike McCarthy? Because I was not the biggest fan of that one.
Yeah, I'm be honest, I'm very surprised that Mike McCarthy still has a job. I would agree with you on Sirianni. I mean, he took them to a Super Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
Bad end of the season, but, I mean, it happens. I don't know. I think that's probably more of a locker room thing than really a Sirianni thing. So
yeah,
I'm not really blaming that on him. I think, yeah, you take your team to a Super Bowl and a couple, like a play or two goes their way, they could have very easily won that game. But Mike McCarthy, he just hasn't won anything in Dallas. So is it I saw the Cowboys and Commanders are the 2 teams that have not played in an NFC Championship game this century.
Yeah, that's crazy. The Giants have, though. That's crazy.
The Lions, who are 0-16, now have before the Cowboys got back there. Like, it's The Carolina Panthers, who are like the laughing stock of the NFL, traded to get the number 1 pick last year and now are losing out on the number 1 pick this year with a nightmare of an owner. Like,
I don't know. It's an embarrassment in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just some franchises are like cursed, and that's what I'm saying. I just can't believe that they decided to stand by, especially knowing that a guy like Bill Belichick would be out there. Like, if I'm Bill Belichick, I would take that Cowboys job.
Oh,
right away.
If I'm Vrabel, I'm taking that Cowboys job. Yeah. Like, you're keeping Mike McCarthy, and he's not a game changer. He's not like a Reed on the sidelines, like why am I blanking on it? The guy from the Dolphins,
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Like, he's not like a guy that's like instantly just changing the game, like in the middle of like third quarter or something like that. But you can see that with other coaches. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that at all. Like, not even a little bit. What's their coaching history? Like, what'd they go from? They went from, didn't they have Bill Parcells? That was back in like 2003. Then they went the Wade Phillips route. Wade Phillips was good, but yet again, playoff struggles. Then what?
Jason Garrett was there forever, and he didn't do anything either.
And then Mike McCarthy, and he hasn't done anything. They don't have that coach that's going to push them over the edge, and that's a perfect landing spot for Vrabel and Belichick. So I can't believe that one.
Jerry Jones pushed out Jimmy Johnson back when they're winning Super Bowls, and now they're not winning anything, and they're sticking around way too long. So I just don't know really what the thought process is there.
It's Dallas. I mean, sorry if you're a fan. I have our apologies, but I shouldn't be apologizing because your fan base is the circle of Dallas fans.
Yeah, these are, like you said, you don't have to apologize to Philly fans. Like, they know that they're like assholes.
Sorry, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you're apologizing to new fan bases that deserve no apologies. Like, you don't have to.
No. Yeah, no.
But all right, a little bit shorter today with no JJ, but I think that's going to wrap it up. Matt, you got any last words for the people?
No, I mean, hopefully it's a great weekend for football. I mean, we only got 2 more, guys, so let's all enjoy it together. But I think we have like the UFL or AFL, XFL.
UFL starting March 30th.
Starting March, so we got some more football, but I promise you we will not be covering that content. We will be going the basketball and baseball route.
Basketball will be over by the time UFL comes around, so maybe we'll have to do something.
Oh, that's true,
Because it's the opening weekend is Final Four weekend, which is also MLB opening weekend, but...
Oh, I guess I was talking NBA.
Oh, gotcha.
For either or. But yeah, no, other than that, I mean, just enjoy these last 2 weeks of football because everybody knows once that spring starts hitting summer, we're sitting there in the dog days like, where's football? I miss it. But draft's in April, so hopefully we'll have a pod on that. But yeah, other than that, I don't got really much else. Hopefully next week we can cover some NBA All-Star Weekend stuff. That'd be cool. That'd be cool, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, definitely a good time of year for sports. Baseball had their Hall of Fame announcements yesterday. Congratulations to Joe Mauer, Adrian Beltre, and Todd Helton on getting elected. Gary Sheffield should have made it, but he didn't, sadly.
I agree.
But yeah, and then they got spring training right around the corner. I believe pitchers and catchers report. Gosh, probably like 3 weeks at this point. I know there's like a spring training game February 22nd. Like, I have that on my calendar.
There you go.
Yeah, like you said, definitely we'll talk some NBA here with NBA All-Star coming up. NHL All-Stars the weekend before. It's Super Bowl. Wait, is it Super Bowl? No, it's Pro Bowl weekend.
No, it's
Pro Bowl weekend. Yeah. So yeah, maybe talk a little puck on the pod, and then
there we go.
NBA playoffs, March Madness. Yeah, it's starting to heat up. Here, fellas. So while football ends, there's gonna be a lot of other great stuff on for us to talk about. So yeah, let us know down below what you guys are watching, what you want us to talk about. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.